Yo, what's up there, YouTube? This is WhatADoozy1929 here. I know I've been gone for a while, but I've been dealing with a lot of personal problems, but I do have time to create another GTA Autos episode. So, welcome to another episode of GTA Autos. I can't remember what the last car was, so we're just going to start fresh. And what not better to start fresh than with a very expensive car that goes with this beautiful mansion, and that is the wonderful Shafter V12. Man, the Shafter has been with us ever since Grand Theft Auto 4, and there's been just such many variants of the Shafter. You have the regular first generation Shafter, which was on Grand Theft Auto 4 with Nico, and you had the Shafter variants on Ballads of Gay Tony. And this is basically it. The one that was on the regular Grand Theft Auto 4 with Nico was a different model. It kind of resembled a old school Mercedes-Benz from, let's say 2005, 2006. So we get to the Battles of Gay Tony, and they completely remodeled the Shafter. They gave it more power, more stance, more looks, and it basically stole the eyes of everyone who played the game. Grand Theft Auto 5 rolls around, and the Shafter makes another return. And the Shafter, it just does well with its handling, its performance. It's just such a wonderful car. Now, a few months ago, we had a update, which was the Executives update, which came with a lot of new cars and, of course, the wonderful yachts that we can afford. Well, can't afford if you don't got that kind of money. But this was one of the cars that was offered in the update, and this is the Shafter V12. The Shafter V12 is a high performance variant of the regular Shafter. Of course, we can all tell the difference between the regular Shafter and the Shafter V12, and just by looking at the bumpers and the hood. Well, basically this is a custom hood, so basically the bumpers, they changed the bumpers just to give you a look of what this car is. Other than that, the car basically retains its same styles and looks. Under the hood, otherwise, is a supercharged V12 engine. This basically gives the Shafter V12 tremendous performance. This car is even faster than the T20 supercar, which is basically based off the McLaren. So if you have something like this going against a supercar like the T20, then that lets you know that this car is really badass. And to be honest with you, it is a badass car. Now, keep in mind when you're trying to buy a Shafter V12, because the Shafter V12, of course, there's different types of Shafter V12s. You have the Shafter V12, of course, which is the one we got. Then you have the armored Shafter V12, which is basically an armored variant with bulletproof tires, and basically it can withstand a few rockets. Now, there's another Shafter V12 called the Shafter V12 LWB. LWB stands for longer wheelbase, which means that the Shafter V12 is basically extended to a more limousine style car, like the Stretch E, which was on the Grand Theft Auto Ballads of Gay Tony, which was the Shafter variation of a limo. So keep in mind when buying these types of Shafters, because the Shafter V12, the regular one, is actually branded as a sports car. But if you get the armored Shafter V12 and the Shafter V12 LWB, it demotes it from sports car to sedan. So to other people, that don't sound a lot, but if you like to race against sports cars and want to kick their asses with this car, then you might want to go with the regular Shafter V12. So basically, the Shafter V12 is such a cool car in so many ways. The customizations, they're just like the regular Shafter. What's different between the regular Shafter and the Shafter V12 is just by looking into the interior. You can also customize the color of the interior. Since my Shafter is basically a cream color, I went to a a brown mocha look. you know, just to give it its luxury stance. Now, the Shafter V12 is a tremendous power, has a tremendous power plant. Like I said, it has a supercharged V12. Now, if you don't want to know, if you don't know what a supercharger is, a supercharger is basically an instrument that they put on cars that basically increases the fuel-air mixture, creating a much bigger explosion in the pistons, which creates a lot of performance and a lot of power. These superchargers are usually added to more luxury cars like Rolls Royces or Bentleys or Mercedes Benzes. Cars from back in the 1920s and 30s had superchargers like Auburn and Duesenberg. These cars had superchargers on there, which made these cars' performance went tremendously up back in the day. So basically, this car has a wonderful power plant. If you remote start the car, this engine sounds like a beast. That is a beautiful engine. So we're going to close everything out and we're going to take a tour around Los Santos in this car, because this car is basically such a wonderful car to drive. You'll expect this car to be actually sluggish around corners, but to be honest with you, this car really does well around corners. You can take some good drifts, you can do some donuts. This car really is a true sports car. It's like that they added so much stuff to it. It looks like a heavy car, but actually performs like a lighter car. This car performance is very high. This car, like I said, can compete against the T20. So 0 to 60 time is literally under 3 seconds if you take the time. The top speed of this car is actually advertised as 190 odd some miles an hour. So that's just sticker information. But you know, these speedometers, they're not accurate. Then they're not as accurate. So other than that, the speedometer will just stop around 120. So that is really high for this car, because if it goes above 110 to around 120 miles an hour, then this car has some tremendous power on this video game. So we're gonna basically show you. I'm gonna basically show you the handling of this car. Basically, ooh, the brakes. I didn't even add a brake system on this car yet, and this car's brakes is already tremendous. So even in its stock form, the brakes are just really awesome. So that means you probably don't even have to add any more brakes to this thing. So this car is priced at around $116,000, if I'm correct, 120. Depending on which one you get, the armored one, which is around $300,000. If you want the LWB, that's going to cost you probably around $500,000. So just be careful when you're trying to buy one of these vehicles, because depending on which one you get, you might get a sports car, you might just get the sedan variant. It depends on which one you get. So I'm going to start right here, because we're getting to end this. We're getting towards the end mark of our time. So the Shafter V12 is such an awesome car. If you have the money, please buy this car, because this car is really, really fast and it's really fun to drive. This car basically is sorry about that. This car is very fast, and for $120,000, you have supercar under all that metal. This is basically one of the coolest cars that I have ever bought and driven. So, this is What a Doozy 1929 here, signing off with the fabulous and the most wonderful car in the whole game, the Shafter V12. I'll see you guys in the next one.